Hi guys, welcome. Today I will be going through some stretches and some tools you can use to release any sciatic pain, so any tension going on in the glutes or in the lower back. For this video today you're going to need a block and massage balls. You can use tennis balls, lacrosse balls, anything that you'd like that would work. I hope that you enjoy and you find this video useful. Thank you so much. Namaste. So we're going to begin standing. And you can use either a chair or a wall close by. We're going to start with standing sciatic stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead from standing position, take your right foot, cross it in front of your left so your little toes come together, legs are extended. Drawing from the belly in, scooping the tailbone under, you can start to extend your arms forward and coming onto the wall. So both hands come onto the wall. Now keeping the legs zipping in, keeping the belly drawing in, you're just going to slowly start to walk your hands down the wall until you can get your hands to the ground. You can definitely use blocks here as well, just bringing your hands onto your blocks. From here you're going to inhale, halfway lift. Again, keeping the legs squeezing together, the belly drawing in. And on your exhale, you're just going to come into the deepest forward fold that you can, drawing your chin into your chest. Remember, you can use blocks on the hands here if this is a little bit too tight for you. And we'll take about 5 breaths here, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, halfway lift, sit the belly in. Now either taking the hands and the hips, pressing down to the feet and slowly rising up, or if you need to, reach both arms forward and just start to walk yourself up, coming all the way back up to a standing position. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So you'll uncross the feet and we'll go ahead and cross the left foot in front this time, bringing the little toes together, squeezing the legs in, squeezing the butt, drawing the belly in. Again, either using the wall to walk down or just keeping the hands in the hips, keeping the belly engaged, and slowly begin to bow forward. Taking the hands either down onto blocks or taking them down towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, so drawing the belly in, creating a nice flat back. And then your exhale, go ahead, bow forward, tucking your chin. And again, we'll take 5 breaths here. Inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. 4, 3, 2, last one. Before you move, pressing down to the feet, again, keeping the belly engaged, either taking the hands or the hips and rising all the way up, or walking up the wall, whatever you need. Slowly begin to rise all the way up to standing position and go ahead, uncross the legs. You can definitely hold those positions for a little bit longer. Maybe 5 breaths is enough, maybe 10 breaths is enough. It's up to you, what you'd like. From here, we're going to go ahead and come into a seated position. With both legs extended out in front of you, you're going to flex your feet. Paschimottanasana. Allow the toes to move back towards you. Zip the belly in. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Roll the shoulder blades down the back. Then your exhale, just begin to bow forward over the legs. Tuck your chin. And again, we'll take 5 breaths here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Pull your shoulder blades back, your heart forward. Then your exhale, go ahead, release your feet. We're going to go ahead and plant down through the feet, allowing the knees to bend slightly. Extending the arms forward, turning the palms to face one another. We're going to lower down to our back nice and slow. So drawing through the belly, rounding the spine, chin into your chest. Just begin to slowly lower yourself all the way down towards the ground. And just allowing your arms to come alongside your body. You can go ahead, walk your feet back a little bit so the feet are about hip distance, close towards your hips. From here, I want you to go ahead, extend the right leg up towards the sky. And you can go ahead and flex out through the right foot. Take your hands behind the right leg and just begin to draw the right leg in towards the right shoulder. So we're creating a nice stretch to the back line of the leg. If it's accessible, you can walk your hands up the leg a little bit. You can grab at the foot. Go wherever feels good. If you have a little bit more mobility here into the hip, you can start to extend that left leg as well, keeping that left leg grounded, and then hugging the right leg into the body. If that's too much, by all means, just keep that left leg bent. Stay here for 5. Deep breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And you can definitely use a strap here across the foot if you're really struggling to reach a hold of that foot. About 3, 2, and 1. You can go ahead, release that right leg. You're going to cross the right ankle just above the left knee. We're going to start to hug the legs in towards the body for reclined pigeon pose. So I want you to go ahead and interlace the fingers behind the left thigh and just work on hugging the legs into the body. So we end up creating a nice stretch here to the back line of the right leg. And you should feel this into that glute and sciatic area. It's up to you what feels good. You can hug the legs in. You can also take a little rock here side to side, just kind of massaging into lower back. And again, we'll go ahead and hold here for 5. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go ahead and create a little bit of a deeper cross. We can release our hands. Now you're going to start to cross so that the right knee is stacked right in front of the left. Okay, so it's cross knee over knee. And then again, we're going to reach up, grab around the left leg, and just begin to hug the knees in. So it's a little bit of a tighter cross now. You can go ahead and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, release the hands, place the hands alongside the body. We'll allow that left leg to come back down towards the ground with the knee bent, and just allow that right leg to go straight. From here, we're going to go ahead and grab a hold of one ball. So we're going to take that ball and we're going to place it underneath the right glute. So working right into the center of the glute. The left knee is going to stay bent. And you can kind of play around with placement here to find a good place that feels good. Usually the most tender place is the golden spot. So it's usually the best place. Now pressing off of that left leg, we're just going to slowly start to turn the body over to the right. So it's creating a little bit of a twisting motion here. And then allowing that pelvis to come back to neutral. And you can keep doing that, playing around at different places within the glute. So just kind of moving the ball around maybe an inch out. And just kind of playing around with where the ball is located. And just keep doing that a few times. So changing the position of the ball, taking the weight over onto that right side, and then slowly releasing. As you do this, make sure that the right glute remains nice and relaxed. And so it's very mobile to get massaged here. We'll do this just a few more times. And again, I just keep moving the position of the ball to different places. If you find a super sensitive spot, go ahead and stay there for a few breaths. Ease up. Find a few more spots that maybe you haven't worked on yet. And we can go ahead and release that ball. And of course, when you're working on your own, you can definitely spend a little bit more time there. Any of these areas that feel like they really need a lot of work, feel free to really spend some time there and make sure that that's nice and loose. All right, we'll go ahead and bend the right knee. Extend the left leg up towards the sky now. So we'll go ahead and do everything on the other side. Again, working as high up on the leg as you can. Just keep in mind that sometimes the pelvis can be a little bit off. But we can feel more tension one side versus the other side. So feel free, if you need to adjust on the side, you can definitely do that. So we're going to flex out through that left foot, holding behind the leg. And just start to work on hugging the left leg in towards the body. Remember, if you want to grab a little higher on the leg, you can definitely do that as well. Just make sure your shoulders aren't pulling off the ground and work on pulling those down towards the ground, okay? If you have these really long legs or really tight hamstrings and you're really struggling to even reach towards the knee, this is where you can go ahead and use a strap and then loop the strap across the foot and use that. Just kind of extend the arms. We'll go ahead and hold here for 5. Also watch out for that hip kind of pulling up off the ground. Try to keep that hip grounded. 4, 3. If you did so on the other side, you can allow that right leg to go straight. A little bit more intense of a stretch. 2, and 1. We can allow that right knee to bend again. We're going to go ahead and take the left leg. We're going to bend into the knee so that you're crossing ankle over the right knee. Start to hug the legs in towards the body, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh. And just work on hugging the leg in. And again, it's up to you. If it feels good just to draw the legs in towards the chest, you will get a nice release into that left glute. If it feels good, so since I did on the other side, I'm just going to take a little rock side to side. So I'm hugging the legs in and just kind of rolling a little bit on the lower back. It's a nice massage for the sacrum. And we'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, we're going to go ahead and take that deeper cross here. So now we're going to stack knee over knee. So I'm just going to start to slide so that left knee is crossed right in front of the right. Again, reaching up, interlacing behind the right thigh, and then just hugging the legs in. And you might not only feel a stretch in the glute, you might also feel good stretch into the front of the hips as well. And hold for 5. 4, make sure your shoulders stay relaxed here. 3, 2, and 1. We'll go ahead and slowly start to release. So we're going to allow that right leg to bend. The left leg is going to go completely flat on the floor this time. Again, you're going to grab a hold of your ball. Up to you if you're using a tennis ball. These are actually meant for massage, so I think they're called the yoga tune-up balls. Or else you can also use a lacrosse ball if you like deep tissue work. You can go ahead and place that underneath that left glute. Remember, keeping that right knee bent. And again, just moving a little bit here side to side, just pressing off of that right foot, allowing myself to come into a little bit of a twist. And then slowly rolling back. And coming off the ball, maybe finding a new placement here. Rolling into it. And back off. And you just keep finding a new position here with the ball. You don't have to move a lot, so just moving about maybe ½ an inch can be enough to really change up this pose and work in a new place. Same thing on the other side. If you find any areas that are really sensitive or really painful, usually that means they need a little bit more work, so feel free to stay there and really work into those areas. We'll go ahead, release the ball. Again, if you're really into that, you can definitely spend a little bit more time there. From here, I just want you to go ahead, allow both knees to bend now. We're going to do a little traction to open up the lower back. So it's a little bit of a sacrum traction. So you're going to go ahead and grab a hold of your block and going about the medium height in the block. If that's too much, you can definitely go lower, but the highest setting on the block is a little bit too much. So we'll go about medium here and you can adjust from there if you'd like. So pressing down through the feet, zipping the belly in. I'm going to press down, lift the pelvis up, and slide the block right underneath the hips, and then allow the weight of my pelvis to sink down here into the block. Okay, the block should be right over the sacrum, so that flat bone that's just above the glutes, base of the spine. And we'll just allow the pelvis to drop down. Take 5 deep breaths here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, press down through the feet, lift the pelvis, slide the block out from underneath. You can go ahead, put that to the side, hug the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your legs, and just take a little rock here side to side. Again, creating a little massage for the lower back. And we're going to bring ourselves all the way up into a seated position. So to do that, you have two ways to get up. You can either grab behind the legs, so grabbing at the thighs, drawing the chin to the chest, and just taking a few spinal rocks up and down the spine, and using that to come all the way up. You can also just allow yourself to roll over to one side, use that top arm, press yourself up, and then just making your way into a tabletop position, okay? From here, I want you to go ahead and step your right foot forward, and we want a nice long stance between the legs. So if I take a deep bend here into that right knee, I want to make sure the knee is directly over the ankle. So making sure that as you step forward, the knee isn't really passing that ankle. So moving as far forward as I have that straight line. We're just going to do a little massage here. So on the inhale, I want you to move the pelvis forward. So I'm feeling a nice stretch here into the front of the left hip. And then on the exhale, I'm going to start to move the pelvis back, flexing the right foot, wrap the right hip back and in, the left hip bone forward, and just go ahead, bow over the leg. And we'll just do that a few times. Inhale, bending into the knee, moving the hips forward, and hands can be on blocks here if you're struggling to reach the ground. Exhale, you can move it back. If you don't have blocks, you can definitely just stack books, anything that you have. I'm just doing that a few times, moving forward and back, creating a little massage into the hip as I move forward, and then massage into the hamstring as I move back. And we move back. I want you to move back in holds. Bowing over the leg, you can extend your arms a little bit more forward if you'd like. You might have to be really elevated up here. It's going to depend on your flexibility. And draw the belly in, wrap the right hip back. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, gaze forward. Slowly take the bend back into the knee, moving the pelvis forward. Take both hands onto that right thigh. Begin to press the chest away from the thigh and keep working, getting deep here into the pelvis. We're just going to stay here for a little bit, stretching into that left hip. Make sure a few things that the shoulders aren't shrugging up so you're not, overstressing into the upper back. And also make sure that you're not shifting back out of the stretch. If you shift back, you end up getting a lot of weight going into that left knee. So we want to move the weight forward out of the knee joint so you don't really feel discomfort there. Okay, up to you. You can keep the hands on the leg if you need a little bit more support, or if it's okay, extend the arms over the head, turn the palms to face one another, roll the shoulder blades down, gaze up. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, take the hands down. We're going to pull the pelvis back one more time. So extending that right leg, flexing out through the right foot. This time we're going to externally rotate from the right hip. So we're just going to start to drop the pinky toe side of the right foot out a little bit, bow over the leg. So you're working on getting that lateral line, the outer line of that right foot down towards the ground, and then extending forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring that foot back to center. Take the bend into the knee, walk the hands back. Slide that right knee back. I want knees about hip distance, bring your big toes to touch. Press your sit bones back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward, allow your forehead to rest down towards the ground. Coming into child's pose. taking a moment here before we switch sides. And then your next inhale, go ahead, gaze forward. Come back into a tabletop position, and then a big step forward with that left foot this time. So again, doing our little checks here. So we have a nice long stance. If you have longer legs, you are going to want to go a little bit longer with the legs. So taking a deep bend into the knee, again, checking my alignment. So my knee is directly over the ankle, moving the pelvis forward. And I want to move as far forward as I can until I feel a nice stretch into the front of the right thigh. I'm going to inhale here. Exhale, I'm going to start to pull the pelvis back, flex into the foot. Remember, take the hands onto your blocks, okay, or your books, whatever you have. Bow over the leg. Inhale, move it forward. Exhale, shift it back. 2 more times. Inhale, move it forward. Exhale, shift it back. Last one. Inhale, move it forward. Exhale, we're going to shift it back and hold. Bowing over the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking the bend back into the knee. And remember, moving the pelvis as far forward as we can. Taking the hands onto the thigh. Just start to press the chest away from the thigh. Keeping the depth into the hips. Hold for 5. Shoulder blades down the back. 4, 3. If you extend your arms on your side, you can go ahead and do that on this side. 2. And 1. So we place the hands back down. Again, you're going to move that pelvis back, flexing out through the foot. We're going to externally rotate from the hip. So we're going to start to turn the toes out towards the side, keeping the foot flexed and working on dropping the pinky toe side of the foot down towards the ground, and then just bowing over that leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, gaze forward, turn that foot back, take the bend back into the knee, step that left foot back, knees about hip distance, big toes together, press the sit bones back towards the heels, extend the arms forward, bow forward, and take a little rest. And then go ahead, slowly begin to walk your hands back and rise all the way up. Okay. So this is just a short little video for you to use as you like. If you know that you really struggle with a lot of tightness and pain into glutes and the lower back, and even if you do experience any sciatic issues, this is a really great video and tool to use just to work through. Again, if any poses feel like they're really beneficial for you, maybe feel free to stay there a little bit longer. Instead of 5 breaths, you could take 10 breaths. If anything doesn't feel quite right with the body, feel free just to cut it out. This video can be really helpful to do every single day, especially if you're really struggling with issues in this area. So I hope you enjoyed and you found this video useful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.